Hi.
Hi.
Welcome. I'm
Thank you.
glad you volunteered. Tell me your name.
I'm Candace. I'm from Canada.
Hi, Candace. Glad you're from Canada. We've got lots of Canada, yeah. That's great. So I actually love taking notes because it helps me to take in what you're saying and really remember it and then help in creating a game plan with you.
Sounds good.
Great. And today's session, we're really going to look at all these different parts of your life, and we don't have a long time today, but we'll try to get to maybe 4 areas of your life and create some goals that feel really relevant to you.
Wonderful.
So tell me a little bit just about what's most important right now that's going on.
With respect to my family?
Anything you want.
Okay.
Anything you want.
I really would like to develop a closer relationship with my parents. I feel like I've grown substantially, but I can't seem to connect with them on a deep heart level, and I'd like to be able to do that. I also would like to transition from the corporate world into coaching full-time because that's my passion.
Great.
I am in the process of developing a new love relationship, and that's very exciting. So I want to make sure that I can have the balance in my life.
Great.
And the other thing that I'm looking at is getting into excellent physical shape.
Great. So, anything else? You're kind of fiery. I think we can cover a lot. Let's go for it.
I would love to have a very large business where I can train and teach and connect with women, particularly to tap into their goddess energy.
Beautiful.
That's actually really gives me the goosebumps.
Good. Okay. All right, so we have business, we have relationship with parents, we have depth of relationship with parents, we have transition between corporate to coaching, new relationship, health, physical wellness, and passion for your dream of your business.
Yes.
Do you see that as separate from your coaching business, or are they together?
They're together.
They're together, okay. So I am actually looking for a blank piece of paper. Now I'm remembering I was going to bring a big notebook because I like to work big for this one. So I'm just going to kind of map it out here since you're holding a microphone. So parents, and I'm just remembering them in my order, not your order.
Sure.
Health. Oh, it's okay because I like the white. The lines distract me. Thank you.
That's awesome.
But thank you. Parents, health, business, goddess business.
Yes.
So that's part of it. The other part of business is the transition.
Exactly.
And then there's the new relationship. So which one, did I miss anything?
No.
Okay.
And physical is under the health, yeah.
Okay, the fit. Which one would you like to start kind of envisioning for our future work together? Because what we're doing today is we're not just creating goals for you, but also kind of creating a roadmap for where we can go together as partners in making it everything you want.
The one that probably causes me the most suffering is the transition with my business.
Okay, most suffering. So let's say most suffering is a 5. Tell me which one, not related to suffering or not suffering, but just that you think about the most.
That's
That one.
Yeah.
Thinking about it is the suffering,
Yeah,
okay?
exactly.
And when you first stood up, you said you wanted this better relationship with your parents.
I do.
How long have you wanted that?
Since I can remember.
Okay.
Probably since I was about 5 years old.
Okay, great. And on a scale of 1 to 10, how much do you, how important is this to you?
It's really important to me because the more that I develop and grow and create beautiful relationships with my colleagues, my friends, my daughter, the people that are in my life, the more apparent it is to me that this is something that's lacking and I would really love to have.
Okay, great. So it's a 10.
It is, absolutely.
Excellent. And when you say a heart-centered relationship, What is that? What do you imagine that being like?
I actually had a tiny experience with my stepdad on Friday, so yesterday before I came, where for the first time I got to actually get a glimpse of who he is at his core. And I shared with him in that moment that, because I got very emotional, that I really appreciated him sharing something that meant a lot to him. And he kind of looked at me like it was a foreign concept. But it was, I told him that's what I want more of. I want to actually be able to see who
you're okay. We'll see if they correct it.
No, still not. There we go.
There you go.
I just wanted to see more of that, and would love to have the same with my mother as well.
So he was surprised, but was he receptive? Did you feel an opening in him?
He was open to hearing what I had to say, but I think he felt confused as to what was different. You know, usually he's an unfortunately kind of person, and I'm a fortunately kind of person.
Yeah. And do they live close to you, your mom and stepdad?
Yes, they do.
They do, okay. And is your mom part of your life daily, weekly, monthly, yearly? What's it like?
Maybe my dad forces her to talk to me.
Your stepdad?
My stepdad.
And is there a biological dad too?
Yes.
Okay, and is he important too?
Yes, but we have a much better relationship.
Oh, okay, so you're already kind of...
Working that with them, yeah.
Okay, so that's already growing and expanding.
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
And
my mother is the resistance here.
The mom,
yeah.
Okay. And tell me about her.
My mom is an extreme tender heart. She married very young to get away from her family, I think, and then had twins at the age of 21. So I think she feels she wasn't able to have her own life.
And were you one of the twins?
Yes, I'm one of the twins.
And so do you still have a twin?
Yes, I do. Twin sister.
Beautiful. And how is that relationship?
That has evolved to a place now where I'm actually quite pleased with where it's at.
Great. So have you been putting quite a bit of focus on expanding the depth of relationship in your life?
Absolutely, for about the last 5 years.
Do you think your mom admires that in you?
No.
She doesn't?
No.
Do you think she's envious of it?
Yes, actually. I wouldn't have thought of that before. I think it scares her. I think she's afraid that I can see her, and she's not willing to. I think there's a blindness, or she wants to maintain a blind spot for relationships.
Interesting. And are you the one in the family that's more perceptive than others?
Yes.
Yeah. So it's one of your gifts.
Yeah.
But other people don't always, I'm guessing,
Appreciate
they don't appreciate it and they don't measure up to your level.
That's right.
Yeah, I mean, what I've noticed many times with people who have your gifts is it's a gift and a curse, because you know the level of depth you can go to, and other people just in their life evolution aren't yet at your stage.
That's right.
So it's not to give up on them.
No,
but
that's right.
I think it's important to recognize sometimes that
they can only do what they can do.
But luckily she gave birth to you. And
yes, exactly.
So what do you guys have in common? Tell me about what you have in common with mom, stepdad.
Mom, I would have in common the spirituality and faith.
Great.
And also emotions.
Yeah, you said she's tenderhearted.
My dad... And my mom's very playful. When I can get her engaged, she can be very playful, so I can have some fun with her. My dad, we both love to travel.
This is stepdad?
Stepdad, yeah.
Okay.
We both love to travel. We both love photography, sports. We can talk about scenarios where we see issues or problems, and we can brainstorm solutions together sometimes. Great. He's starting to think that women are intelligent.
Good. It had to happen sometime. He had to realize that.
I was holding out hope for a long time. Yeah.
Great. So now that I understand a little bit, I want to skip over to the new relationship in your life.
Sure.
Tell me about that.
He's awesome. I love him. It's new. It's only about 2 months old. But I put out the intention of what I was looking for, and a lot of that was values. And the very first time I laid eyes on him, the 2 phrases that popped in my mind were, he's a very kind man, and he has quiet confidence, which
Beautiful.
were wonderful things that I was looking for.
Beautiful.
And he's able to express himself quite clearly and is also keenly interested in spirituality, which is very important to me.
Great. So you have quite a few people in your life, your mom and him, anyone else who shares that? That would be another life zone. Sometimes we just stumble across an important zone. That would be an important zone, right?
Definitely,
Your spiritual
yeah.
life. So mom, boyfriend, we'll just call him a boyfriend.
Sure. My daughter.
Daughter.
Complete strangers. Colleagues. I talk about it whenever I can.
Great. Oh, I wish we could just talk about that now. But we're doing a demo. Okay. All right. So, and sister? Does she share that interest too?
I have been badgering her for quite some time, and she's finally found a mentor that has opened her up, and so now she's curious, and we can talk about that sometimes.
Great. And anyone at work?
Everybody at work. They have no choice.
So tell me about your work, because that's a big stressor, but I want to know what's going on there.
So I work in oil and gas, which the role that I have, my title is landman. And people always call me landlady, land person, land woman. I'm like, no, I'm a landman. Sometimes it's nice to respect traditions. And basically my job is to facilitate different groups to come together and bring all their different agendas so that we can drill oil and gas wells for the company.
Great. And
so relationships are key in that.
Relationships. So it's, and are you managing people, or you're managing communications?
No, I I support 5 different teams.
Support 5 teams. So tell me about the strengths in you to be able to do that, even if it's challenging.
Well, what's challenging for me is that it's very linear and very masculine oriented. So it's hard to allow that flow of energy that I like to see. And I find that for myself, I'm passionate about relationships, but because of what we do, it's always on a superficial level.
At work?
At work.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yep. Okay, so the coaching, when you do transition and when you make the goddess trainings or whatever we're going to call them, that's going to be more your mode of being.
Exactly.
With your strengths. What would you miss, though, about work? Money, like whatever it is.
Yes, it would
certainty.
be money for sure. I get paid very well. It's probably the best paid industry where I live. I would miss the engineers.
Ah, good. Okay.
I love their mindset that they want to break things and then put them back together again. I have a lot of fun with those guys.
Wonderful.
And I would probably miss the speed, the pace with which we work.
Great. So as we work together and create this plan for your new business, we want to keep in mind the importance of what you would miss from the current business.
And the variety.
And the variety.
Because I work with 5 different teams.
Yeah, and you work with a lot of people.
Yeah.
So, as a coach, you'll still be working with a lot of people, but often coaches find when they transition from that kind of environment, even though they're seeing clients, they miss the camaraderie of teams.
Yes, and I do have
and someone actually here wrote that to me about what they miss about their more corporate job compared to working from home as a coach.
And that's actually something else that I would miss is I love being able to go and work in the hub of downtown.
Okay, hub of downtown.
Love that.
Okay, great.
I think I'm a little afraid of feeling isolated if I'm working out of my home.
Okay, great. And tell me now, so a fear would be of the new business. I needed another zone, new business. Fear would be isolation.
Isolation, yeah.
Okay. So today we're not going to be able to create a vision for everything. So now I want to, you look pretty healthy to me.
I am. I want to be healthier.
So you want to
like
be healthier,
healthier.
Okay, and you kind of have a vision for that?
I do. I take CrossFit and I dance, so I love them both.
Okay, so for now, maybe we can just trust that you are
I'm
in the right direction.
Yes, I am.
Okay, and we will just save that for, you should always feel free to bring that into the coaching, but for now, we'll just kind of
Set it aside.
know that it's doing really well.
Nice, thank you.
All right, and the new relationship, any holdbacks there, anything that you want to work on goals for right now, or how is that flowing?
No, I feel that's very good. We both are excellent communicators, and I'm pretty excited about where that may go.
Great, okay,
Mhm.
so that's another one that just watch and learn and enjoy.
Yes, exactly.
Okay, so let's come back to the parents. It's beautiful that you have in common with your mom the spirituality, the faith, the emotions, the playfulness. What could you do with her that she would feel empowered in the activity that maybe you don't do often enough, that might surprise her if you invited her to do it with you, without the focus on the relationship, just on enjoying each other?
Probably go to church with her.
Great, go to church with her. What else?
My mother loves Elvis.
Elvis, awesome.
And I tease her mercilessly in a very bad way about it. So I could probably lighten up and actually...
Find out more about Elvis.
Yes, exactly. I've been to Graceland.
You've been to Graceland.
I did go because I knew that was important to my mother.
And how old is she?
My mom is 67.
67.
Mm-hmm.
Because someone once told me, I think, really key wisdom about people as they enter more, maybe she's not in her last chapter, but she's like, 70s, it's kind of a maturity, that they really enjoy reminiscing about the past.
Okay, the nostalgia.
Yes, so one of the quickest ways to deepest connection is to ask her empowering questions about her younger days, her passions, not her failures, like not her overwhelm of having twins at 21
Right.
or leaving your dad, not the pain topics, but the things she really wants to go back and relive.
I think that's probably the hard thing because what I remember most about my mother when I was a child is that she was always a victim. And so trying to find something, she didn't graduate high school, she has all these different stories.
But she loves Elvis.
She loves Elvis, that's something I do know.
So did she have a fan club for Elvis when she was young? Did
I'd have
she
to
read
ask,
books
yeah.
about him?
Mm-hmm. She's
what's her-
collected stamps too. She loved JFK.
Okay.
Yeah.
JFK. So what was it about these men? What is it about charisma? I mean, we know some of what it is, but more detailed for her, what is it about those things? So, because everybody's got a lot of pain, right, in their past, and maybe she had more than many.
I would think, yes.
But she also, how's her relationship with her second husband? Is she a loving? You said she's a heart-centered person.
Yeah, she's heart-centered, but they have a very codependent relationship as far as I can tell. And I've pretty much modeled what I would not want based on watching them.
So you're not going to give her a lot of appreciation there.
No, sorry.
But,
yeah.
If it was opposite day and you were to appreciate what she has with him, if we were playing fortunately, unfortunately.
I love the fact that despite their challenges, they have been together and seem to support each other, and even though it seems awkward to me, for over 40 years. So that's pretty exciting.
Yeah. So there are some things there.
There must be something holding them together, and I haven't figured out what it is.
Yeah.
But I think that's pretty remarkable that they stay committed to one another.
So how do you imagine she would react if you asked her for one of her secrets or one of her strengths that allows her to stay in a relationship, or allows her...
I think she could surprise me, actually.
She could surprise you with what she says. Okay.
I think so.
And maybe even if you asked it after going to church with her.
Yeah. Definitely.
So what would be a goal you would like? Like I gave you some suggestions, right, that you gave me, but I asked you for them, of going to church with her, talking about her love of Elvis in detail, and other heroes that she didn't know personally, but she probably knows their life story.
Right.
Asking about her secrets in a 40-year marriage. There's probably other things like that. But what would you feel good about committing to as an action that you take that will create that depth eventually?
I think something that my mother would really love, you've got the wheels turning here, She's an only child, and I feel that a lot of where she comes from is she just wants special, individualized attention. So if I were to take the time to set up an afternoon with just the two of us and maybe take her to the mountains, which are only about an hour away, have tea with her, ask her some of these questions, make her feel special, I think she would be really thrilled with that.
And do you guess that making her feel that way and giving her that attention would also give you a sense of that deeper connection?
Definitely, yeah.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, so that's beautiful. So you'll commit to that?
I commit to doing that.
Okay, wonderful. And with your stepdad, travel, photography, sports, solutions. I don't know why I wrote solutions.
Because we will brainstorm, we'll see
you'll
things
brainstorm
outside
solutions.
in the outside world
Okay.
and think of how we would do things differently.
Okay. So have you ever asked him for advice on your job transition?
No.
Would he be a resource or would he be a handicap in that way?
I think he'd be a handicap.
He'd be a handicap, okay.
Yeah, because we have very different belief systems and mindsets, and so I have found that the best way to connect with him is not about something that I want a solution with that I'm sensitive about, but more with external things. So I think for him, you've got me thinking about this as well. What I would love, because something else I didn't mention, is he's very good at finances. And I would love for him to show me different ways to invest.
Great. Investment strategy.
Yeah.
Great. So,
I think he'd be tickled pink.
and will that help you feel the depth of relationship?
No, but I think that would demonstrate to him that I'm not a know-it-all.
Okay, so it is a deepening of at least of his understanding, your appreciation of him.
Yeah, because we really have struggled over the years for him to see that women have intelligence.
Okay.
And so this is where it's been a challenge. So if I ask him for his help on something, maybe he'll start to open up a little bit.
Okay, that's
I'm
great.
hopeful.
That's great. Yeah, and it seems like you're very aware that what you're looking for are these little openings. It's little moments.
Yes, exactly.
It's not like they're not going to jump to your level like that,
No.
right? It's going to be these little experiences.
Because that's the way it's been with my twin.
Yeah, and then it took an outside force to come in and really
Exactly.
help. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's beautiful. How about your daughter's relationship to your stepdad and mom?
Almost non-existent. Yeah.
Do you think they would like
They
some
would
relationship?
desperately love. My daughter is also incredibly tender-hearted, and she, I think, doesn't have very much respect for my parents, probably as a result of my relationship with them.
Yeah.
Not probably, definitely. And so this is one of the reasons why it's important to me. My daughter and I are extremely close, but she doesn't seem to value the grandparents. And interestingly enough, I was very fortunate to have many grandparents with having two sets of parents, and I was very close with all of my grandparents. But my mom and stepdad, not so much. So I would love for that to come together more.
Is she closer to your dad at all? Is she?
She's closest to me and to her dad's parents.
To her dad's parents, but your dad, she doesn't know either.
No.
Okay.
No.
So here's just an idea. Tell me how you think the reaction would be in yourself and in her. If you just made a point of sitting with her one time in a nice way and telling her good stories about just a couple good memories about each of them.
Yeah, I could definitely do that.
Okay.
And I would also share with her what I'm committing to doing as well.
Okay, that it's important to you
Definitely.
to bring
The
depth to
families
this
together.
relationship, because I think the most important thing is for her to know you're okay, you want this,
Yes.
you're doing this for yourself.
Yes.
And then she won't, how old is she?
She's 23.
Oh, gosh, you look so young.
Thank you.
I was expecting she's 10. Okay. So she's an adult.
Yes.
She's not gonna, I mean, help her to know what you want and what you're doing, but it sounds like she's her own woman and
Yes,
she'll
definitely.
make her decisions. Okay, great.
Cool.
So back to business. What needs to happen first for this transition?
I think for me, I need to get back into coaching again. It's been 3 years since I last had a client. And I just had an awareness. The new man in my life helped me see that was framing why I left coaching in a very negative way that made me feel bad about myself. And so once I had that awareness last weekend, it's really lifted a weight off of me that I'm very excited and ready to go forward again.
Good. And you're here.
Yes,
So you're taking massive action already in that area, so we don't want to ignore the reality that you do have the drive and the momentum that you have chosen to do this.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So one of the things I often come across when someone's making this transition is they might be more all or nothing thinkers. Are you all or nothing, or can you see ways to
No, I can see
start?
ways. Yeah.
Okay. So have you designated, like in your ideal week, how many clients right now with your job you could incorporate and how that would look?
I think I could do 3 clients on a weekly basis.
Great.
That's what
And
I
would
used
that
to
be
have.
evenings or
Evenings,
weekend?
yeah.
Okay.
Mhm.
And with the goddess trainings you want to do, are there some steps there that you can start working out while you're in your current job?
Definitely. So the first thing I would like to do is set up a book club.
Great.
And the next thing I want to do with the goddess is create like a women's group that meets once a month,
Great.
like a red tent circle.
Great. And is there any way to incorporate the goddess work with the new relationship or with the spirituality?
Definitely with the spirituality, without a doubt. And with the new relationship, I talk to him about it all the time, and he's like my biggest cheerleader. I'm so excited to have someone on my side. Yay! What I see potentially in the future, and I haven't talked to him about this yet, but it actually popped in my mind last night when I was going to sleep, and I was so excited about this event, is I could see us potentially coaching people how to have positive relationships and interact on that feminine masculine energy, because he understands that concept very well.
Great.
So I think that's something we could do.
Beautiful. And in the, like, that might be more when in the future, right?
Exactly, that's right.
But right now, are there even some playful ways you can bring ideas into
the relationship with
him and keep a journal? Because maybe your journal about that would then evolve into a teaching for other women, like how to bring out the goddess in a new relationship.
Okay. Yeah,
It was just like my brainstorming idea. Like, that's great that you could possibly do this in the future with him.
Well, I actually asked him if he will do certain exercises or things that I've done before in the past at different retreats with my goddess mentors. And he's been on board with that so far and thought it was a lot of fun. So
Good, yeah, that's great. So I think women would really benefit from knowing how you worked this into this new relationship, because many women, at least women I coach, don't know how to introduce that spiritual side and that feminine goddess energy into the new relationship. It's somewhat, I mean, it happens naturally.
Right.
But some women may be less in flow with it or confident than you are. So that's why I was just thinking if you could keep some kind of journal about it.
I will. It
might turn into a book.
Because I started the conversation with him about spirituality on our second date.
Good. Good. Yeah.
I was like, I have to see if he's not into this.
It's not going to happen.
Not going to happen.
Awesome. So we have some goals here. We have the afternoon with your mom, just the two of you. Ask her questions, make her feel special.
Yeah.
The stepdad, investment strategies, and focusing on the small glimpses of his connection.
Yeah. That's exciting to me.
And the daughter, sharing memories with her.
Yeah, I will do that.
Okay. And so I know you're a fire person, and I would like to next week focus on even more of a game plan for the book club, the women's group, and the 3 clients. And maybe even right now, which is your priority?
The clients.
The clients is the priority. Great. So could you make a commitment that in 2 weeks following this training, you reach out to, I don't know how many people you could reach out to tell them that you have 3 slots open?
Definitely.
Okay. Because the first step is just reaching out to them and saying, I have 3 slots open.
Yes, I can do that.
Okay. First step. Okay. Awesome. So now what we're going to do is the life story exercise.
Okay.
And so I want to shake it out. Okay. All right. So this is fun, and I'm sorry you have to hold the microphone.
That's quite all right.
I kind of go into a zone. So if I have a good note taker up here, take notes for me when we're doing life story. All of you take notes. Okay. So I actually would like to follow the directions because if I wing it, I'll have a great time, and it's fine to wing it, but I won't be helping them. All right. So this strategy covers a lot of information very, very quickly, because we're going to start by you telling me everything you can think of, whatever you think about right now, from the moment you were born, what happened to you. So it's linear, from the moment you were born until right now. And you can just go with what presents itself. So it's not about, I can't leave anything out, or I need to do it in a certain way. Just go with whatever flows, fast, slow, whatever speed you want to go at for 3 minutes.
Okay.
And actually, if a team member could you just, maybe someone who has my phone, bring me my phone so I use my timer. Not that I don't have wonderful timekeepers, but this will help me to. Awesome. Okay. All right. So from the day you were born until right now, everything you can think to tell me. Go.
I was born a twin, and from the moment I can remember, I always wanted to be an only child. I was really pissed that I had to share my life and my birthdays with my sister. The first thing I remember is my grandmother raising us. Because my mom was divorced at a young age, and I was very, very close to my grandma. And then Mom met my stepdad when I was about 5, and I have a very clear memory of being devastated that Grandma had to move out because she was going to be a third wheel. And I was really crushed. And then my dad became the disciplinarian, and life changed. We couldn't just, play in the mud and have fun and bring the cat and the birds into the house. And we moved to a small town. Luckily, my stepdad gave us a choice of which small town we wanted to move to, and he gave us our choice, which was great. But it was very strange because it was a very rural, redneck, ultra-conservative neighborhood, and we weren't related to anybody in town. So I was a freak on a couple of levels because I was a twin and there were no other twins, and we weren't related to anybody in town, and people thought it was strange that my parents commuted to the big city to go to work. But being pretty open and everything, I made a lot of friends, grew up in this small town, learned to become a leader and excelled in sports and generally sociable. Always had a dream of going to Germany. Went as an exchange student in 1987 for a full year, made that happen, and I realize now that was my very first laws of attraction and manifestation. And came home from Germany, and my parents had moved to the big city, so I felt like I was displaced. My twin, fortunately, although I was mad that she copied me, she also went on exchange. Fortunately, she had the same experience of being an exchange student, so we could relate to each other a bit better. I met my daughter's dad when I was 19. We had a child out of wedlock when I was 23, and that really probably damaged a lot of relationships with my parents because they're ultra-conservative. But I was, hell be damned, I'm having this child, I want this child. And we married when she was 5, and I knew then it was a mistake to marry him, but I decided I didn't want to have a stepdad for my daughter. So this is why we were in this relationship. And in the meantime, I had always promised myself that I would go back to school, because the day I found out I was pregnant was the same day I was accepted to go to school, post-secondary school. So when my daughter was 6, I started going back to school part-time, and when I was 35, I convocated with honors with a business degree. And
Time.
Thank you.
You did great. And you're not even very old, so we didn't get through all of it. So that was wonderful, and now I know so much more, so thank you for sharing. Now we're going to go in 2 minutes. And I want you to feel free to go internally if you want to go faster. Leave things out, tell me more, do whatever feels right to you, but you can tap, you can, you know, you can use your body to help you. When I first did this one, I was like tapping away. Some people rather stand up, whatever works for you. So now we're going to do 2 minutes.
So I'm still telling my life story?
Starting from the beginning.
Starting from the beginning.
In 2 minutes.
Okay.
All right, let's go in 2 minutes from the day you were born.
So I was born in a great city. I'm a twin. I hated being a twin. I loved my grandma, adored her, was very, very close to her. We had a cat that I loved that I used to tease mercilessly. I was very playful and happy and a jokester. I was a bit of a ham. I remember enjoying being outdoors. I hated going to school because that meant I had to sit still and I couldn't be sociable. I spent a lot of time doing students' union and sports to interact with other people. I felt like I was never fit in anywhere. However, I realize now that that's one of my gifts, that I can adapt and relate to a lot of different people. I was on an exchange program that I manifested in a small town when we didn't have internet and everything, and I was able to go to that. That was a huge success for me. I came home and started working in the oil and gas industry while raising my daughter and going to school part-time to get my degree. It took me 8 years, but I did that. And then I started, when my grandmother died, my step-grandmother, who I thought was my mother figure, died in 2008. That's when my emotions came back and got me on the path of connecting more deeply with myself and finding my spirituality. And since then I've worked on mediumship and goddess archetypes and all these different things. Really passionate about relationships and connecting people and feeling like if we work together we can create a better world. And I want to leave this place a better place because I was here. And now I feel like complete about my growing up. I don't have a lot of anger or upset about it. And I want to teach other people how to find the gold from the lead of their past.
Time. Good job. Wow, that was a lot. That was a lot. So that was fun. So now, and I don't think I'm following the instructions perfectly, I'm sorry, but we're gonna now go backwards for 3 minutes from right now. Back in time, as far as you can go back, maybe to the time you were born, maybe you won't get that far, it's okay. But starting right now today, back, and we're gonna take 3 minutes.
So today I call myself a warrior goddess, and I am in a new relationship, and I work in the oil and gas industry as a mineral landman. I feel like I am easily able to adapt to a lot of different types of people and situations. Before that, I was a coach. I was searching for myself and my identity and who I was after I had divorced. My mother figure had passed away, and my daughter had gone to university, so I was alone. And I took that opportunity to find out who I was and spent the last few years doing that. Before that, I was in university, stressed and harried, trying to raise my family, my marriage together, working, also trying to incorporate travel and an exchange. I did an exchange to China. Before that was working in the oil and gas industry, but as a secretary, and I hated that job. worked with a lot of people who didn't have respect for the role that I had. They called me just a secretary and didn't recognize that I was a human being with, thoughts and ideas and things that I could offer. Before that, I was a mom who was barely working, making enough money to raise my daughter. I remember living in an apartment and having just enough money for my rent and $50 to support my daughter and I with food, so I nursed her. She had no choice. And before that, I was trying to get a job in an environment where there was no jobs to be had because I'm a Gen X and just a couple years shy of a baby boomer, so there was literally no work to be had. Before that, my stepdad had got me a job at Canada Safeway, and when I went for the interview, I said, no, I can't take this job because there are people here with PhDs and master's degrees, and I'm just a high school graduate. So I said, I'll get my own job. And before that, I was an exchange student, which played a big role in my life, obviously. Before that, I was in high school, and I was student union president and played all the sports except for basketball. I was very sociable. I wore skirts and dresses in a time when everybody was wearing leather jackets, tight jeans, and their rock band t-shirts and high tops. Before that, I was a very gregarious little girl that was always getting into mischief, teasing and torturing her twin sister. Before that, I was a little rascal, and I think my grandmother called me a nincompoop, and because I was always getting into mischief, like bringing...
Time. Wow, that was amazing. Now the grand finale, 1 minute. Would you like to go backwards or forwards?
Backwards was fun.
Backwards, okay. Backwards in 1 minute.
Okay.
And this is you did it. Okay, let's go.
Today, I'm a warrior goddess that feels pretty empowered, and I'm excited to say that I have a beautiful daughter that I'm very close to, a twin sister that we seem to connect and understand each other a lot more. Before that, I was a university student and working full-time in the oil and gas industry. Before that, I was a person searching for who they were and what they wanted to be when they grew up. Still doing that, but not on as much of a fast track. Before that, I was a single mom trying to raise a child while I was still a child, definitely emotionally and mentally myself. Before that, I was a renegade that I went off to Europe and lived in Germany before there was internet and could get there. Before that, I was a high school student in a small town that didn't get me. Before that, I was a young girl with short hair that my stepdad teased me that I look like a little boy.
Stop. Great. Oh, wow. Beautiful. And you have a talent for communicating your life story. I've actually never had anyone so completely and truthfully just go through that exercise.
Thank you.
On stage, anyways. So that was beautiful. Tell me about your experience of going so quickly through that.
This has been, I didn't know what to expect, and I feel like I'm playing a movie in my head. Mm-hmm. And I feel as, because I'm doing it so rapidly, I can't attach or connect with any of the emotions, but I can see it, and there's a connection, but that it's a part of me, and it's also an awareness of how far I've come, that I'm like, wow, and all these different images that show up that have formed who I am, and that without those things, whether they be negative or positive or however I attach the meaning to it, wouldn't make me me if I hadn't gone through them. So I think there's a tremendous amount of appreciation that you had me go through this exercise, and see things in a different way than I might have if I'd had more time to chat about it.
That's great. Yeah. And I noticed how in the different, like in the second telling, like it's always really interesting what new comes out. And probably if you did this tomorrow, it would be new things would come out, new things.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But in the second, I just wanted to point out to you, and my notes are all over the place. Not sure if I'm looking at the right one, but that there, you mentioned your grandmother in even a more loving, like how important she was to you.
Yeah. I still hear my
So-
grandmother, even though she passed away the year before my daughter was born.
Yeah.
I still hear her.
You hear her, so she's
Very close.
yeah. And you also seem very integrated in who you are. Like you know these roles, you know this past, and you're also in this power place right now.
Yes, that's how I feel.
Yeah, that's fantastic.
Thank you.
And yeah, I think I'm actually just kind of taking it all in right now. So I'm really awed by it and appreciative of you sharing all that.
Thank you.
Yeah, and I think, this is the thing I wanted to kind of bring forward, is that we talked earlier about your daughter's relationship to your parents.
Right.
And I'm wondering what your mom did to help you have that closeness, that depth with your grandmother or your stepdad. How did they help? They must have helped in some way. Maybe by being flakes themselves?
Yeah, I think so, because my mom divorced very young, and my biological dad was a deadbeat at that time. He's stepped up his game since. But Mom felt that she had taken on this responsibility. I think the expression she used is, I made my bed, I had to lie in it. So she felt very responsible to get out and work and support us. And but she couldn't afford daycare because there were two of us. And my grandmother, luckily, her husband had passed away, which was lucky for us. I didn't know him. And so it was a win-win that she could come and live with us. She loved children. And interestingly enough, it's always puzzled me. My mother said she never had a close relationship with her mother.
But she wanted it for you.
But she wanted it for us. And so I was very, very close with my grandmother. Very, very close. Actually, all my grandmothers. All of them.
That's
but particularly
beautiful.
her.
So that's something maybe that you could share with her, your appreciation
Yeah,
that she did enable that.
Yeah,
in
definitely,
her
because
own
I've
way,
never
yeah?
seen it that way before.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How beautiful.
Thank you.
Yeah. Okay, thank
Thank
you. I
you.
loved that.